Hello, I'm Mitchell,
I'm Aurelia.
and we are a part of a group called HYPE, helping young people everywhere, partnering with Morwell Neighbourhood House.
The purpose of our group is to help young people gain insight on meaningful employment.
What key qualities make a candidate stand out while applying for a job with your company?
Yeah, so the first thing I look for is how they write. So I want short sentences, I want a crisp pitch, I want them to explain to me why they want the job, and then I want to see them in their application.
How important would you say a cover letter is?
I think cover letter is pretty important. It's kind of like the one-page pitch, right? And I reckon for young people in particular, no more than one page. I reckon probably no more than 6 paras, maybe 5 paras are probably enough. And then within that cover letter, it's about explaining to people why you want the job and what you've got that they want.
How important is networking for young professionals and how should they approach it?
If you have a yak with that person and they tell you about something, an opportunity or business engagement or something along those lines, always make sure get some contact details and you follow up so that they remember you, because the more times you have contact with an individual while you're networking, the more likely they're going to remember you, and also the more they're going to recognise actually that you're interested and you're motivated. So I reckon for new starters in particular, it's about them feeling safe and included in the workplace, being able to be themselves, but then also making sure that they understand that there are certain sets of behaviours that you just don't cross the line on. So, my tip would be dress to impress, be attentive, focus really hard on listening, particularly in a new role. You've got all of these extra sensory things going on around different settings, different people, different stuff in front of you in terms of the work. So how you maintain your energy levels and your concentration at the same time as feeling safe.
What key qualities make a candidate stand out when applying for a job at your company?
So we've got our key values are excellence, integrity, working together, patient-centred care and respect. So we look for the candidates that really show those qualities.
What is the biggest lesson you've learned in your career as a CEO, and how does it influence the way you lead today?
Certainly the lesson that has been most important to me is that when you're talking to a group of people, whether it's your boss or it's people that work with you or work groups that work under you, you need to tell them the truth, because once that trust is gone, it's gone forever.
How can volunteering improve your employability?
So for me, I think with volunteering, you can learn a lot of skills that you don't necessarily learn on the job and that you don't necessarily learn at school. So it can be a way that you can add things to your skill set that you're interested in, or it's also a way that you can meet people and that you can network and get to know different kinds of industries that you might not yet be trained for.
How can social media affect your chances of being employed?
So I guess everyone who's looking at an employee resume these days probably looks at your social media. So if there's things that you have on it that might not be appropriate for the business or that don't meet the business brand, or it can be a problem for getting hired. And I think that people forget how permanent social media is. Like for me, scrolling back on my Facebook since 2007, there's a big difference in what I posted then, sort of thing, to what I would post now. And I think with every new platform that we have, every social media platform, it's kind of that same growth period where you don't quite understand the platform yet, or what might be appropriate to showcase in that way. And that can bode well for just your how you're viewed, because you're not necessarily the same person as you were 10 years ago when you posted about X thing, but it kind of makes people think you are. So I think that could be how.
What is your passion about?
So I'm really passionate about environment and community. So that's what I do a lot of my volunteering in. I'm also really passionate about the arts and creativity and music.
What are you looking for in potential employers?
So I think when I'm looking for someone to work with, I want somebody I can get along with, that isn't going to be hard to spend time with. I like to see people who have diverse resumes and have tried different things. And I do also like to know what people are interested in outside of work too.
What do you look for in a resume?
So I'm looking at resumes that are easy to read. I get a good understanding of the person, and I really want to see something around their passion for the role. So why are they applying for the role? And that can apply for any job, and it might be You know, if I was applying for a job at a fast food place, which is a great opportunity, I get to learn all these skills and stuff, but I'd really want to make sure that I was clear on why I wanted this job and why it was important to me as a person. So I really want to see that in the resume.
What advice would you give young people just starting out their careers?
There's a few things. One is, understand who you are, what are you passionate about, what are your interests. Having a bit of a game plan, so where do you see yourself in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years perhaps. And I think understanding what sort of training or courses might help you get to where you want to be in your career.
What is the biggest lesson you've learned in your career as a manager, and how does it influence the way you lead today?
Oh, that's a big question for me. I think one of the biggest things I've learned is, and around managing people and supporting people in the workplace, is to work with their strengths, to find out what makes them tick and what they are passionate about and what they're good at, and really concentrate on that and allow that to dictate where the other work might land. So we might need different supports for different things, because we can't all be, everything to everyone, and we don't always all have the skills for everything that we need to do. But if we understand what our skill set is and how we're supporting people to build their capacity in their workplace, then we get a much better outcome. And I think that is a really kind way to work, but it's also a very respectful way to work with our community and work with people that are in our workplace. So at Morwell Neighbourhood House, that's something that we're very passionate about.
So my next question for you is, how does volunteering add to your skill bank?
Volunteering is a really powerful way to build your skills and capacity in community, but also build your connections in community. So one of the things that I look at when I'm looking at resumes is, not only do I look at your technical skills and the skills that you bring to the role, I kind of flip to the back and I look to see where you're spending your time and things that you're choosing to do. Because when you volunteer, you choose that, and you're making a choice around how you support your community.
I just wanted to say thank you, Tracy, for being here, and thank you for helping us create such an amazing project.